Hello, this is Andy Crusby, and welcome to my third video blog post. This blog post is actually an extension of a previous post, and you'll find that post listed below. In that post, we covered this material. This is just some simple voicing exercises using double down sticking in jig time. And in that blog post, taught some basic patterns, and then combined those basic patterns to teach a simple exercise and then a complex exercise. And then once we had finished this portion of it, we had combined portions of that basic, simple, and complex exercise to learn the groove that's at the bottom. And that is this groove right here. And that groove looks and sounds like this. A 1, a 2, a here I go. And as you can see on the groove, that the uppercase letters notate an open tone and the lowercase letters denote a muted tone. And here's what that looks like on the drum. For every open tone, I'm just lifting my hand to let the skin sing, but laying it flat to mute all the lowercase letters in between. But here's what that looks and sounds like. A 1, a 2, and here I go. Now, I really enjoyed this pattern. I use it regularly in sessions with my own band, but the problem with this pattern, or any pattern for that matter, is if I do it over and over and over, it starts to sound way repetitious. It could be boring after a while. So we need to do a few things to vary up the pattern or make it exciting. So one of the things I'm going to teach with today's video blog post is how can I take a pattern that for the most part stays the same but add elements in order to make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit more exciting. And what we're going to do is basically maintain this pattern, but instead of just doing all open tones or lowest open tones for all of the uppercase letters, we are going to vary those tones in those spots. So instead of using just a lower open tone, we're going to do a low open, a medium open, a high open, and a pop tone, and then mix and match those variations where the uppercase letters are. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So the first thing I want to show you is what are those tones and what are the hand shapes that I need to use in order to voice or sound out those tones. So just review the first two that I just showed you, and again these are in the previous blog post, is that just that muted tone. So all I'm doing for the muted tone is laying my hand completely flat on the drum while allowing my index finger, at least the tip of it, and the tip of my thumb to touch right where the shell meets the skin, right on the inside of the bearing edge. And it's going to look like this from the side. So you can see right there that my hand is laying completely flat on the skin. So the next thing that I'm going to do is the muted tone is going to sound like this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is get that open tone. So I mentioned earlier that the tip of my index finger and the tip of my thumb are right where the shell meets the bearing edge. As I'm going to hinge off of those 2 points and open and let that skin ring. So what I'm going to get is this sound. And that is the lowest sounding tone of the drum. Now the next pitch is going to be a medium open pitch. It's not going to be as resonant as that open tone, but it'll still be a little bit resonant and definitely higher than that lowest open tone. So to create that tone, what I'm actually going to do is lift up my fingers while pressing the heel of my hand into the skin. And what that's going to do by pressing the heel of my hand is increase the tension of the skin and therefore bring up the pitch. What it looks like from the side is like this. Here's my hand flat, and then I just lift up my fingers while leaving my heel on the drum. And that's going to sound like this. And you can hear that pitch comes up just a little bit. So just to show you in comparison to the low tone, I have the low, and then I add the heel. Now, the next one is going to be a high open tone. Same exact idea. I lift up the fingers, but I'm going to press just a little bit harder in order to increase the tension of the skin even more. And that's going to bring that open tone up even higher. So I get this. So between those 3 tones, the low, medium, and high, it's going to look and sound like this. Low, medium, high, medium, low. And I can voice those 3 tones just by depending on whether I lift my whole hand or I press with my heel and lift up my fingers to let the skin ring. The final tone that we're going to use is a pop tone. Now a pop tone is where I'm going to isolate this area of skin at the top end of the drum between my finger, my thumb, and the top of the drum, and it isolates this small area of skin. So basically I've created a smaller drum between these features of my hand and the side of the shell. Then what I'm going to do is press just a little bit harder to increase the tension there, and play right where the tape meets the skin, and I end up getting this sound. So again, it's like the snare drum of the baron. It's really high pitched, really crisp. So again, to go through those sounds, we have open, medium, high, pop. And those are the hand shapes that I'll use to go in between them. An exercise you can use to go in between them is just to do this. Open, flat, heel, flat. Open, flat, heel, flat. Open, flat, heel, flat. Once you're comfortable with that, you can go heel, flat, heel, press harder, flat. So you end up doing this. Medium press, hard press. Medium press, hard press. And then go in between those. Open, flat, medium, flat, hard, flat, medium, flat, open. Now the cool thing about the pop is once your hand's already in position for that mute, you've already set up the pop up top, so you can just leave your hand there. But anyway, those are the hand shapes that we're going to use to play this pattern. So let's go ahead and get into manipulating this pattern. So in order to get these sounds in my hands, what I want to do is this. I'm going to play one time through each of this pattern, and on each pass I'm going to do all lows, all mediums, all highs, and all pops, and then a low open tone at the end is just kind of like musical punctuation, a period at the end of our sentence, our musical phrase. And I'm going to get this. So I'll go all lows, all mediums, all highs, all pops. 1, 2, here I go. And once I can do that, and let me show you what it looks like, and I'm going to use a slightly different drum just because it sounds a little bit better. It looks and sounds like this. 1, 2, here I go. And once I can do that, I can just change tones one time change the tone one time through each pattern. Then I'm going to try to do 2 tones per run through. So in this case, I'm just going to go low, medium, medium, and then just do that pattern over and over. What that'll look and sound like is like this. 1, 2, here I go. And to show you what it looks like on the drum, and I'm going to go back to my teaching drum real quick for this, just to show you how the hand shape's working on it. It'll look and sound like this. 1, 2, here I go. And on the regular drum, it'll sound like this. 1, 2, here I go. And so forth. Now, once I've got that done, and I can experiment with those tones. Instead of just going low, medium, medium, I can go medium, low, low, or medium, high, high, or low, pop, pop, or low, low, pop. The point is, in each pass through of this pattern, I'm using 2 tones for those uppercase letters. And the cool thing about this is now that you know those 4 tones, the low, medium, high, and pop, you can mix and match as you would like. It's kind of like it's like riffing on a recipe for gumbo. Some people use sausage, some people use shrimp, but you just kind of riff on those ingredients, but the basic idea stays the same. Once I've got that done, I'm now going to try to go 3 note changes per pattern. So I'll try low, medium, high, and I'll get this. 1, 2, here I go. And so forth. If I wanted to, I could go low, medium, pop. 1, 2, here I go. And so forth. But again, the point is I'm just varying these tones or 3 tones per each pattern, so it gets me used to changing tones quickly and going between the various hand shapes. And what that allows me to do is just mix and match these tones to make that pattern sound a little bit more interesting. Once you do that, then you can take that a step further and do this. Try 1 through, then 2 through, then 3 through, and then capriciously just try to mix and match tones until it sounds good or feels good. You can match the bass line or the root movement of the guitar if you're playing with a guitarist or a bouzouki player. But the point is, just by using that basic exercise that we taught from that blog post earlier, and then using those different hand shapes, as in 1 per pass or 2 per pass or 3 per pass, we can mix and match those tones where those uppercase letters are and make our pattern sound just a little bit more interesting. But anyway, I hope that this idea has helped. I hope that you incorporate it into your practicing and playing. If you have any questions, please contact me via the website listed below or leave comments listed below. But thank you for your time, and I wish you the best with your playing and practicing. Have a great day. Bye.